What's happening, guys? My name is Max. I'm a communication skills coach, and what I do on this channel is I look at all different types of people's communication skills and I give you my thoughts. So this will be my very first time checking out the Boyz. I know this isn't the entire group of the Boyz. This is just Kevin and Jacob. I hear it's a good one. I think this is a good start. The interview's in English. So let's get right into this.
Do you sleep with
just
him?
a bit. He has like a thing, like he's usually super energetic, but then
Oh, okay.
I could sleep wherever, whenever.
Oh.
Like even if someone like really loud turns off the music, like really loud, or turn the light on, I could just still fall asleep.
That's a blessing, man.
It is.
That's a blessing.
But I can't wake up for life.
Okay, so there's three of them, Eric, Jacob, and Kevin. I was thinking when I was reading the description, Eric was talking about himself, Eric, but there's another Eric. Is that Kevin on the right? Kevin seems like an incredibly nice person. He sort of has a similar demeanor to Subin from TXT a little bit. He seems a little bit more outgoing than Subin, but has that sort of sweetness to him. You know, it's interesting. Eric Nam, I've commented before on his communication skills. He's such a charismatic guy, isn't he? I mean, I think one of the things that contributes to his charisma is the energy he brings to a space. He's just full of energy, full of life, and he's the type of guy that you can't help but gravitate toward.
Thing that shakes it and vibrates, and I put it like between my bed, right? And then when it like rings, just vibrate and shakes the whole dorm.
And you still can't get up?
Yes, we are a living room apart from each other,
And you
and I wake up from it. Yet he still sleeps like a baby.
I like how Kevin's interested in Eric's story, right? Like he's almost as interested in Eric's alarm clock vibrating story as much as Eric is. To me, that's just like a sign of a friend who cares. You can tell right away Kevin doesn't have to make it about him. You can tell right away. I think that's sort of the, the sweetness that I'm detecting, the consideration as a friend. Like you can tell he's just as into telling Eric's story as Eric is. He's just trying to add sort of light and humor and interest to the story. And I liked how when Eric was telling his story, he was using gestures to describe his alarm clock. And I find often as speakers, when we do that, when we can incorporate gestures to accompany our words, it definitely helps make the story more vivid. It makes the story more sort of engaging for the audience to listen to. They can help better visualize what it is that we're talking about.
For those of you who are not familiar with the Boyz, please go get familiar with their stuff because their stuff is good and they have a lot of stuff out there.
Stop it.
So if you guys had to pick one comeback or one concept or one album that you want people to go see, what is it? Eric, you said
Reveal.
Reveal. Why?
I like cute and like bright concepts, but I like more of like a mature and like
Stronger stuff.
stronger stuff.
okay.
That's right.
See, I think Kevin's on the same wavelength as Eric. And again, like I think that's his nature to want to help, right? He was helping Eric before tell his story to Eric Nam, and he helped finish his sentence there.
Mature and like
Stronger stuff.
stronger stuff.
okay.
That's right.
So I think it's in Kevin's nature to want to help. He just seems like a very helpful person. And seems pretty outgoing as well. Like he seems very in tune with other people when they're speaking, very aware. He seems like a really good communicator.
For more mature, stronger stuff, check out Reveal.
Yes.
Yes.
Kevin, you said
I said Road to Kingdom, which is technically not a comeback, but Reveal is in there.
There's
So,
an
okay.
album.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. We did Checkmate. That's a comeback. But like Road to Kingdom, we did a little bit of everything. So
okay.
yeah.
Road to
Jacob.
Kingdom.
I chose Reveal.
Yeah, Kevin's very friendly, right? Like I said, he's very friendly. He's got a very friendly vibe. Like even when he's speaking, he's kind of looking at Jacob, he's looking at Eric, he's looking at Eric Nam, like he's looking around. I think he likes to constantly, it feels like, be connected to the other guys and plays off their reactions and plays off their feedback. Like he's reactive, he's in tune with his surroundings and the people around him. He seems like a real people person and someone who wants to be connected to others. I also think that's just a good communication skill in general. When you are aware of the other people in the room when you're speaking, you can be more conscious of making eye contact and turning your body toward them. as opposed to neglecting people in the group when you're speaking. Sometimes we get nervous and timid and we can only look in one direction, but the more comfortable we are and the more we practice this, the more we practice looking around the room, it's just better from a conversational standpoint because it brings more people into the discussion. And I see that from Kevin. Like, I see that skill from him, but I also just think it's in his nature to want to connect.
For you guys, when you see Kevin, is there a useless talent that you guys see of his?
He makes use of his talent very well.
Oh, okay.
So,
So he uses all of them.
Stop it.
Oh, he's very talented, like all rounded. So
artistically, both music
Okay.
and actual art. So
All right.
useless.
Thanks, guys. Shoulders wide today.
Kevin's kind of funny when he receives compliments. A couple times he's like, "Oh, come on. Oh, stop it."
Out there.
Stop it.
So
He's not like fully deflecting it. You could tell he enjoys it, right? He enjoys that people connection. He enjoys the compliments. He enjoys bonding, it feels like, in many different ways. And I think one way of bonding is being able to give and receive compliments. But you can see it, especially a lot more than some other K-pop idols who won't even take it in for a second, right? Because I think that's just more of a cultural thing where that aspect of humility is so embedded in some South and East Asian cultures that, you know, there's no ounce of embracing any compliments. I don't know what Kevin's background is, but it seems like he takes in it a little bit more and he enjoys it. I think Jacob, just judging by his body language, he's kind of hugging the pillow. He just seems a little bit more closed off, not as necessarily comfortable with being expansive and open and being seen. It could also just be him wanting to get more comfortable physically, but it feels like he's just a little bit more shy around the social interactions.
to be honest, Kevin, not to hurt your feelings, but
Uh-oh.
your fashion is not my style.
Ooh, Eric taking a shot, man. Eric taking a shot.
Your fashion ain't mine either.
It's my style. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
wait, so what is your fashion?
I love it. Jacob coming to his defense right away. What a nice gesture. Coming to it's my style. Takes his hand. It's my style.
It's my style. Don't worry.
Right away coming to his defense. That's nice.
You know, in like winter where you just wear this jacket, it's like a
Snakeskin?
bleeding.
Yeah.
That hurts my eye.
Why do you hate snakes?
Scared.
Snakes don't like you either. That's not a useless talent. That's a diss.
That's true. Kevin's right. That isn't a useless talent. That is more of a diss. These guys seem to be good-humored about it, right? They seem to be close enough to be able to take those shots. I can't see Kevin or Jacob taking those shots at Eric. They seem too sweet in a way. But Eric, I can see kind of, I mean, he seems sweet too, but I can see him doing that, right? I can see him kind of just being a little bit more direct in that way.
Who is a member that you're like, I do not want 5 of you?
선우. 선우.
Why?
He's like the opposite of me. He doesn't like put back his clothes after
Wearing them.
wearing them.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't clean up after himself.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so essentially Eric's saying he's like very organized and clean, and so the guy he's talking about is opposite. Yeah, Eric seems to speak quite honestly. I mean, he was the first guy to answer that question about who he couldn't have 5 of. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that tries to put on a face to have this sort of fake positive image. You know, if he wants to talk a little smack, he's going to talk a little bit of smack. So there's like a refreshing component to that we don't always see in the celebrity or K-pop world. And although it doesn't feel like there's any malintent, he's not afraid to speak his mind. And again, that's something that I think a lot of audiences gravitate toward. So that could be a big part of Eric's appeal. Maybe a lot of you like Eric because you feel like here's a dude that's being real. And I think as an audience, we can sense that. This person's not really trying to hide something from us. You know, it's something that's in our subconscious. Like, do I trust this person? We're always trying to figure out, do I trust this person? Do I like this person? I think a lot of it has to do with how much honesty we sense from that person. Are they being real with us?
Or one of the discussions we had, is a hamburger a sandwich?
Good question.
Now, this is from Jacob to Eric.
Is it a sandwich? Yes or no?
Wait, so is a hamburger a sandwich?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're asking you. You're not asking us. We're asking you.
Oh, so you're not asking me which one I like better?
No.
The question is, does a hamburger fall into the category of a sandwich?
Yes.
It's blowing his mind, this question, because it's a good question. Is it? Technically, I guess it is, right? I wouldn't consider it. It's a burger. It's its own separate thing. That's my answer. Not that anyone cares, but Eric didn't fully understand the question. Might have gotten lost in translation a little, and it's kind of a weird question to absorb. What Kevin did that was really impressive was he was able to explain the question in a different way.
Question is, does a hamburger fall into the category of a sandwich?
Yes.
And I think that's a really good skill for a lot of us to learn when we're communicating to people. There's not one right way of asking a question or delivering a message. And sometimes we may need to re-deliver and reshape our question or reshape our message using different words for the other person, for the audience to better understand. So that takes us being perceptive and seeing, okay, are they getting it? Are they not getting it? Maybe I need to simplify. Maybe I need to use different language. So Kevin's on that right away, and he was able to realign the question and redo the question in a way that Eric could understand.
I go in, I say, Eric, wake up, and he wakes up, but with this just sleeping peacefully.
Maybe he thinks of it as like a massage chair, you know?
Yeah.
He got a lot better though. When we
He
were
did?
trainees,
Oh yeah, that's
we would have to like wake him up like 6 times
I
for
have
him
sprayed
to
him in.
for him to just open his eyes.
Oh,
but now if
should
we,
Wow, it's like a serious issue, huh? He like really can't wake up. And I don't think the boys are like super upset about it, but you can tell it's a thing. You can tell it's definitely a thing. It's a thing that they get to like make fun of Eric about, and you can tell they're like slightly annoyed by it. But more than that, I think it kind of just contributes to like the inside joking in their group. Like it contributes to the humor in their group. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to it being like this like real big point of contention.
cards and threw it at my back, and that hurt. Like it really hurt. Like I swore at my brother or cousin. I don't remember. Like out of
Oh.
anger.
I thought you like stabbed someone and did something so bad that you swore to yourself that you would never be mad or angry again.
No, and then
But it was just cards.
like a few years down the road,
Kevin's so social, huh? He loves getting involved in the stories. Really like a social butterfly.
oh, and then
But it was just
like
cards.
a few
He just can't help himself almost. Jacobs, it seems like he's more to himself. Like he's not completely introverted. He might be a little bit more private. Like he's not as willing to share as like an Eric or a Kevin. But he has a pretty like positive, happy disposition. You know, there's an intensity to Eric. There's a charisma to him, but he's got a lot of energy. Even Kevin said he's got a lot of energy when he communicates. Right? Energy is contagious. You know, Eric really gets into what he's saying. You can tell, like when he speaks with conviction. There's an energy to him. Same with Kevin. Like Kevin's got energy and he's positive and he's alive and he's social. Eric doesn't feel like has the same sociability as Kevin. Like he's not like kind of like going around and looking to connect all the time. It's more like when he's speaking, he's very like sort of convinced and focused in his thoughts and beliefs.
But Jacob is like, oh, sorry, teacher, I can't do this. There's a curse word in it. I can't do this. Soft Jacob.
So
he
nice.
never swear.
After those instances, you've like you have not sworn.
oh maybe like in my head, but like
Isn't that
not,
worse?
Not out loud. And there's probably times I like used like a similar sounding word.
I wonder if he grew up in like a very strict environment, Jacob, where it was sort of shunned and frowned upon to swear. But yeah, very, I guess, by the book, maybe a little bit more rigid. Yeah, he definitely doesn't seem as like loose as Kevin or Eric. But it seems like he knows what's going on. Like he's looking around, he's kind of got a smirk on his face, like he knows something that we don't, almost. Maybe he kind of plays the role of like moral compass in the group in a way. I don't know. Yeah, but because of that, because he doesn't want to swear, he doesn't want to say certain things, it does feel like Jacob's a little bit more guarded. Feels like he does keep more close to his chest. There's more of a mystery to him. Although he's like very kind of involved in the conversation in the sense that he's paying attention and he's listening, it does feel like he's not completely open and forthcoming.
Or what's like a worse thing than shaving off an eyebrow for you?
No hair from the neck up.
No.
Chop off a toe.
Chop off a
What?
toe?
Jacob's not. He does not. His brain is too kind.
He's just like, say
No
what?
eyelashes.
No
No
eyelashes.
eyelashes.
But I need those.
Maybe he's not super private, Jacob. I get the sense that he is a little bit more private, but it seems like he's like fiercely loyal and defensive of his friends. He has their back in a major way. Like even before when Eric took a shot at Kevin's style, Jacob was like, I like your style, like immediately.
It's my style, don't worry.
So maybe he's the moral compass in that sense. Like he's kind of like looking and surveying like, hey, if this person feels bad, I'm going to step up and do what I can to bring this person up and to make this person feel good. I think Jacob may be surveying the scene for that. So I think he's in tune and aware, but in a different way than Kevin. Whereas Kevin wants to bond, Jacob wants to like protect and have your back and not hurt.
I'll say noodles for hair, but it's like loose. Like,
Like,
what if you're on
but it's
stage?
It's soggy.
It's better than having nothing. but there's
like,
bald people.
When you're in the sun, it's gonna get
I
like,
know.
crispy.
I know. I'm not saying I what do you say?
It's crispy in the sun.
Oh yeah. 부셔먹어.
See, it feels like Jacob and Kevin are more on the same team and Eric's more on his solo island over here. And I think just the nature of Eric's personality, he can take it a little bit more. He can dish it, but it also feels like he can take it a little bit more. I think Jacob and Kevin recognize that, right? Jacob and Kevin don't seem like the two guys that are gonna like go at each other personally. Doesn't seem like that. They're both like too kind to do that to each other. But Eric, because Eric's willing to come at them, they'll take little jabs at him too. I think there's definitely different dynamics that take place within this group.
Sometimes I eat noguri, sometimes I eat like 신라면, sometimes I eat bulldog, sometimes I eat
Okay,
bibimbap.
last meal on earth. You have one bag of ramyeon.
This is some serious question.
This is the most serious he's taken a question all day.
I say noguri.
Noguri.
Good stuff.
Why?
The noodle, it's thick.
See, he knows what he likes. That's the vibe that I get from Eric. Maybe before I was talking about his energy is big. I don't think he has like the biggest energy necessarily. I think he does have an intensity to him and an energy to him, but it doesn't come from him necessarily projecting his voice very loudly. You don't have to be the loudest in the room to create the most energy, right? A lot of your energy comes from your convictions, from your beliefs. It's inside out. It's not outside in. Right? When we believe something and we know what we like and we know what we want, we know what our opinions are, there's a certain energy that comes from that people can sense. And I get that from Eric, but he does it in a conversational way. He's a cool guy. I like the way he communicates. I like the way he carries himself. And there's also a confidence to him that I can really appreciate. Now, I think Kevin might second guess himself a little bit more. I think Kevin's very confident socially, but he's not as sure. He's not as certain. I think that comes from maybe a little bit of like people-pleasing tendencies. Yeah, just his personality. I think he wants to like bond and connect, and that's more of his sort of role and his motive. Like he likes that. He gets joy out of connecting and bonding and all those things, like I said before.
But just for my health, I would get the smoothies and
Okay.
Yeah.
the oat bars.
like,
and just
Okay.
every
would you not
day
eat
start my
chicken?
day with a smoothie. Well, there's
Okay.
nothing wrong with smoothies.
Nothing wrong with smoothies.
Yeah, nothing wrong with vegans and smoothie, but I'm just saying, like, how do you survive just only eating those kind of stuff?
I mean,
When we dance like 6 hours a day.
See, Eric has no problem coming at them. And again, it's not in a harsh way, but he has no problem coming at them. He's not worried how they're going to come back. He's not worried about that. He's not worried about whether they're going to like what he said or not. He's just saying it. I think he's very like opinionated and, like I said, knows what he likes and knows what he wants. So it's like almost he's so kind of rooted in what he likes and thinks that it's like harder for him to recognize that other people might not like this. Now I'm going to actually check out one of their performances for the very first time. So if you're interested in watching my reaction to their performance, along with my uncut reaction and analysis to the video clips that we just watched, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. I've included the link in my description below. Other than that, my name is Max. I will catch you soon. Peace.